Hello, everyone. This is Alexis Cohen. Welcome to Paint, Pray, Flow, a journey into creative freedom through divine love, peace, and prosperity. And today I'm so happy to welcome Angela Blaha, who is a conscious consultant, transformational ascension teacher, keynote speaker, and author who mentors her clients to become conscious leaders, ultimately helping them to share their voice, stand in their full power, and become whole with their soul self. Hi, Angela.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. So why don't we just jump right in?
Let's do it.
Sound good? Okay. So how does your relationship with spirit inform your creative process?
That's a great question. So my connection with spirit, I'm never not connected. Let's put it that way. Like I've learned through the hard path, I want to say, how isolated and how alone and how uncreative I am when I'm not connected, when I'm not deeply connected with, my own self, spirit. So use it through meditation. Like before we hopped on, like I did a little meditation connecting with your audience, with you, with, this project, how we can, evolutionize consciousness and how we can get creative in the process because we can't go back to the old way. And so that's pretty much how I use spirit. I'm never unconnected anymore.
Yeah. So can you share a little bit about, so you do transformational ascension work. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that is? I know this audience is quite interested in ascension work. So anything you want to share with us?
Perfect. So ascension is literally our shifting consciousness, like moving away from the old belief systems that we've been sort of handed down, like they're hand-me-downs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily resonate with us any longer because we're outgrowing them. It's like the old pair of jeans that used to fit when you were 16 and now you're 18 and they don't fit anymore. That's exactly what our belief systems are. And the ascension process, how I help people do that is to look at your belief systems, look at the patterns, look at the story that you're constantly sort of wrapped up in. Like, how true is that story? And then how do you shift it? How do you change it to like help yourself like really align what your real true desires are, what your yearnings are, and what you want in life. So how I explain that to people is I take people from surviving into thriving and we have lots of little tricks, lots of ways to hack through the emotions and understand them because they're ascension. If we look at the great big picture of ascension, everything is entangled. I'm not sure it was really supposed to be meant that way, but this is how it ended up. And here we are, right? And so we have to sort of dissect them, pull the emotions apart, get to understand the emotions and why we even have them and how to use them, to support us versus harming us. Mm-hmm. The thought forms, like the repeating thoughts that, well, I know lots of women who have repeating thoughts, right? Like we have this sort of innate training or innate inability to get rid of repeating thoughts. And so how do we move those thoughts out of holding us back and holding us into very small little boxes into like vastness? How do you change your thoughts? It's all about, rewiring the mind into thinking expansive kind of thoughts versus repetitive kind of oppressive kind of thoughts. And then, dissecting those belief systems and really, using belief systems to help us grow and expand versus, again, holding us back. So for me, that's what transformational ascension is working the ascension process. There are certain levels, I want to call them, but they're not really levels. But they're experiences that we have throughout the way that sort of throw us into these sort of uncharted or unremembered areas of ascension. Like there's one that several of my clients are working through right now, where you rid yourself of so many belief systems, and then there's kind of this vastness, and it's freedom, right? But we sort of get lost in it because we don't really know what to do with it,
Yeah.
because it's so free there.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just sort of flounder around and sort of try different things. But when we stay there too long, like I stayed in that portion of ascension for a couple years, and it was way too long.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to experience all the depths of it so that I could teach people how to work their way out of it. But really, how to work your way out of that kind of experience is really to get super focused about what creates passion, what creates that fire in you, the true fire. I'm not talking about the distractions of the world, but that true fire, that one kind of, there's a common thread for all of us. It's like that spirit kind of thread where it's you, like people know you as that, but you may not know yourself as that, right? Because you've been so distracted before. And then moving through that portion of the ascension process into, okay, what is it that I really want? What do I really desire? Because once you get rid of the belief systems, what is it that you really desire? Right? There's kind of a space in there where it's like you're kind of lost.
Oh my
So,
God. Yeah.
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 Our whole world is kind of experiencing that right now.
Yeah. Well, you're sharing about this, and I'm like thinking about this like very particular time in my life, in my 20s, where this was happening. Like I had, I've talked about this in different interviews and things along those lines, but I was working this corporate job. I was just so unhappy in it. By the grace of God, I got fired from that job. But after that time, it was this like just exactly what you're talking about. It was this very free time.
Yeah.
And I remember I was living with roommates at the time, and they all seemed to know what they wanted to do. And it was kind of excruciating because it was like this free flowing thing. And I had an older friend at the time who was just so helpful and was like, when you're an artist, when you're in this space, you're creating something completely new. So you're not going to see other people doing what you're eventually going to do. So really appreciate this time that you have. And so as you're sharing this, I was like, oh yeah, it was so excruciating that time, but it was also such a precious time because I had to stay so close to myself every single day. So I wouldn't spin out in that freedom space.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like it's like you're on the border of like flying off into the ocean someplace, but you're like scared to death. And it's like, I don't even know what happens to the mind during that period of time when the vastness is very prevalent is when we're bringing in those new concepts, those new ideas into creation, the mind doesn't have anything to wrap itself around. Like it can't conceptualize the picture or the vibrational frequency, right? And so the vastness happens in the mind. It literally happens like the brain can't figure it out because the brain is a memory bank and it just pulls from your past experience. So if you don't have anything in your past that it can sort of network to or entangle with, then it just sits there and just says, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. When you're doing that too, like during that time, that's when I found shamanism. And as you're sharing this, I love these interviews and what opens up, like there's just the gratitude for that spiritual practice to anchor during the time where it's like, am I going crazy? Like what is opening up right now? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And nothing really sets you on fire. Like the world could crumble and you wouldn't even care. Like it's that sort of a vastness, but it is excruciating because you have no direction really. You just really feel lost. You sort of isolate yourself, or at least that was my experience. Like I sort of isolated myself because I didn't really want to small talk to people because that was boring. But yet at the same time, I'm kind of an oil painter. And so I would spend a lot of time doing that or reading or, meditating and, trying to be creative.
Yeah.
But I couldn't even be creative because I just could not wrap anything around the new stuff that I was bringing in, and here it is, consciousness, right? So yeah, so it's kind of a scary place, but we all sort of move through it at different times in our life. And a good portion of people are moving through it right now. So
Mm-hmm. So can you speak into that? So for folks who are like really experiencing that right now, like there are like so many structures are falling away, like globally and in people's lives. So, you know, for the beautiful viewer who's watching this right now, like if you're experiencing this, Angela, what do you want to say to them? Like, how can they move through an experience like this?
so you have to make a decision. Honestly, we're not in times of when you get into this portion of ascension, you have to make a decision that you're actually going to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to sit on the fence, you're going to dabble over here, you're going to dabble over there, and then you're going to be frustrated, moving back and forth, and you end up on a roller coaster of just highs and lows. And so you have to literally get serious with yourself and make a decision that you're here to move forward. That it's a hard decision to make.
So when you're even saying that, so I 100% agree that, like, and sometimes you don't even know what it is you're moving forward into, right. But setting that intention of like, I'm moving forward. Can you speak a little bit into that, like that intention, even if like you don't know what it is you're even moving forward into?
Right. Well, that's the beauty of being a creator, right? Is that majority of the time, you don't even know what you're going to create. And if we're actually working through ascension, that we're in the present moment, because creation doesn't happen in the future and it doesn't happen in the past. It happens in the present moment. And so there's this, in that space of vastness, of freedom, of not knowing what in the world you're going to do, there's a point where you have to like literally make the decision, and then you have to start supporting that decision. Even though you don't even really know what to do, the best thing to do is to sit with yourself, go inward, find your own spirit, your own deep connection, and ask that portion of who you are instead of trying to figure it out in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that portion, it's that inner connection that you have with your spirit, your soul self, your God self, that's going to find the answers, or you're going to deliver the answers to you, and you don't even have to think about it. That's where life gets super exciting. I mean, because you're creating every single moment of the day, and you're moving to this hyper consciousness and this hyper activity, and you're like, you don't even have to think. You don't even have to feel, like you just are so full of passion. That's the only feeling that you really have. And everything is a drive for like, what else can I download today? What else can I, what other idea or concept can I bring into creation today? That's where life gets exciting. We've been doing it backwards all these eons.
Yeah. No, as you're sharing this, I like share this with my husband all the time. Like, the spirit, or whenever I'm creating from that edge, mm-hmm. where I'm creating bigger than what I could come up with. Like, and just what you're saying, I'm just saying yes to it and stepping in and listening, like one step at a time. And it's like, I find when I step into that, I create the space for spirit or the muse to come in. And my husband and I talk about this all the time, like being filled up with the muse, and it just feels like you're like animated with it, right? Like all of a sudden you have all this power and energy. Like, how did, you just can do it. And like looking back on the project, you're like, how did I do that? Like, and you didn't, right? Like you were collaborating with spirit in that way. Yeah.
Yes. That's the embodiment, right? Like that's when you can embody spirit, and you're just like the creation just gets created, and it's like, this is better than I could have ever conceptualized. And the freedom that comes, like the internal joy and blissfulness and happiness is like that's what we're here to achieve and do and work. That's how we're here to be humans, is through that thriving component versus all the lack and the hardship component. That's kind of an overrated paradigm for me.
Shifting out of that, yeah. No, this is
Yeah.
such a great conversation. So our larger community is called Artist Ascension, and
Mhm.
so really have our eye on supporting like the creatives, the healers, the visionaries of this time, who are really ushering in the new earth through their work, creating these new structures, sacred bodies of work. So, what would you say to the artists of this time, the creatives of this time?
I tell all of my people to just flow. Stop worrying, stop trying to figure out the how to, because that just pulls you into your head. Like, stop looking to the outside world for your answers. Go inward where all the brilliance is, like all the wisdom, all the passion, all the new concepts, the new earth concepts are hidden in you. They're not outside in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the world. Right? They're all hidden within you. And the key here is to unlock them. And really, the only way that I know that works is to literally get connected, so deeply connected with your inner self, and trust. Trust is a big thing when we're bringing in new concepts and new ideas into creating this new amazing world that we're going to create. So
So beautiful. Well, I think this
yeah.
is like a great segue for, I know you wanted to offer a practice for our
Yes,
beautiful viewers. Should we dive into the practice?
let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a meditation specialist, and so I teach people to really go in and get that deep connection. So that's what we're going to do. So take a nice deep breath in, close your eyes. On the exhale, you're going to pull your energy into your core. Maybe it's your spine, maybe it's your root chakra, maybe it's into your heart space, but you're going to really anchor in your energy into who you are. Take another nice deep breath in, and again, pull your energy in. This is you grounding into everything that ever is. Now we're going to take your awareness and we're going to open up the telomeres. And the telomeres are the finger-like things at the end of the chromosomes on the ends of your DNA. And we're going to open them up. We're going to light them up so that they can receive and activate the new frequencies of the new earth, of the new paradigms, of the new ideas, the new concepts. And the entire body is going to shift and it's going to light up everything within you. Maybe you feel a little tingling, and maybe you feel like a different vibration, or maybe you feel very calm and peaceful. But we're going to open up and continue to open those telomeres and keep them open to receive all of the wisdoms, all of the packages of light information, all of the new concepts and the new ideas, and they're just going to filter into you, into every cell, every particle, every DNA strand. We're going to filter it into the mind, into the thoughts, into the emotions. And if we need to release belief systems in order for these new paradigms to enter, then so be it. And now you're going to bring your energy back in again, and you're going to get so deeply connected to that inner God self, that inner soul, that inner spirit, to where the field of potentials, the field of opportunities exist, where new ideas, new concepts, new pictures, new vibrations are filling every cell within you. And we're just going to allow that energy to fill you up opening and expanding and allowing yourself to grow. And maybe new colors begin to appear. New thoughts begin to appear. Maybe new knowings come in. Maybe the body begins to vibrate at a different pace. Maybe you begin to hear a little differently, see things a little differently. Whatever your strengths are, this deep connection is going to nurture that, make it stronger. And whatever artistic path you take, the level of conscious awareness expands and grows. Your ability to move beyond becomes greater, more magnificent. More potentials begin to arrive at your door without you even doing anything. Because vibrationally, you are now aligned, open and receiving of everything the new earth has to offer. Because you know the new earth now exists within you. And you're the creator of the potentials and the opportunities that the new earth provides. Take another nice deep breath in. Pull your energy back in. We're going to leave the telomeres open. Can wiggle your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was so lovely. That
Yeah.
was so good. Yeah. And so for those of you who are watching, please jump in the Creative Empowerment Collective Facebook page and share what came through for you with the meditation. And especially in this community, we often see there's similarities, or one person's vision inspires and opens something up for somebody else. It's really this beautiful collaborative thing. So please jump on there and share. That was incredible.
Yeah. Thank you. The thing about creative beings is like we activate each other. And so the more you share with the world, like the more activations happen. So that's kind of how it works.
That meditation, like just what we were talking about before, like as soon as we dropped in, I saw this face of the muse, like this next painting that wants to come through. And it's been, I've been feeling it very strongly the last 2 days, where it's like sitting down and doing admin work is like, style. It's like ready to come in.
Right.
So as soon as we dropped in, it was like, whoop, there it is. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's
that's the power of connecting in, is like everything that we need to know is just right there.
Yeah.
You just gotta be open to it and receive it.
It's just right there.
It is.
Mm.
It's just right there. Everything is already in our field,
Yeah.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that's not in our field. Like that's a double negative, but there, there's really, I mean, everything is always just right there. We just have to be open to it and receive it.
Mm.
Yeah, simple, so simple.
It has just been so wonderful to be here with you today.
Oh, you too.
Just so lovely. And I know you also have a free gift for our beautiful viewer. Would you like to share about that?
Yes, so I have a half-hour consciousness call where we sort of dive into whatever your soul, your spirit wants you to know that you're not aware of. And we sort of activate the consciousness through that avenue. So, yeah, so it's a free call, half hour. Just sort of dive in, bring your questions. Yeah, we kind of go wherever spirit guides us. So,
Awesome. That's hugely generous. Thank you, Angela.
yes, you're very welcome.
Yes. Okay. So, dear viewer, thank you for being here. And please do share. We are there to witness you, to support you, to celebrate you. So, jump in that Facebook group. And please check out the rest of the series. We've got some incredible guests, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.